one of the criticisms against the Prophet Muhammad is his death. It is said that the Prophet Muhammad ate poison at Khyber, and 3 years later he died from the effects of the poison, according to Ibn Sa'd, Volume 2, pages 250 and 200, or 251 and 252. Now, I just want to point out the inconsistency of Christian apologists who bring up this death of the Prophet Muhammad argument and the supernatural protection of the Prophet Muhammad. Because notice how the poison, if you read Ibn Sa'd's book, Ibn Sa'd Volume 2, the poison was supposed to have an immediate effect on the eater. Yet the Prophet Muhammad lived 3 years after eating that poisoned sheep or lamb. That's the whole miracle of it. The fact that Allah protected the Prophet Muhammad from dying immediately from eating the poison, and he lived 3 years. He lived long enough to complete the mission of Islam and then die a martyr's death. So if you read Ibn Sa'd, Volume 2, page 251 to 252, it says the Prophet Muhammad lived 3 years after eating the poison goat or lamb. And the poison was supposed to have an immediate effect because the Prophet Muhammad's disciple Bishr died immediately after eating the poison. So the poison was supposed to have an immediate effect. But I want to point out the inconsistency of Christians, because we know, according to the Old Testament, according to the Bible, that the Jews killed their prophets. It's a fact, if you read the Old Testament, that Jews were responsible for killing their prophets. Further, we read in the New Testament in 1 Thessalonians that according to Paul, prophets were killed by the Jews. And further, we read in the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Matthew that John the Baptist was killed by the Jewish leader Herod. If you read the Gospel of Mark and you read the Gospel of Matthew, John the Baptist was considered a prophet. So John the Baptist, the whole reason why John the Baptist was beheaded was because of a Jewish leader named Herod. Herod wanted to marry according to the Gospel of Mark and Matthew, Herod wanted to marry his half brother's wife or something, and John the Baptist was preaching against it. So they arrested John the Baptist and they killed him because of Salome. Salome was dancing in front of Herod and he liked it, and then Salome ordered the execution of John the Baptist. So Jewish prophets and John the Baptist were killed by Jews. So this does